Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. My name is Will Keller. Thank you for your time and attention. I want to thank James and Joe for giving me the opportunity to present this information today. My website is Natural Freedom League, and I'm excited to present today. So let's get into it. The title of my presentation is Revolt Against the Modern World and the Return to Nature. Now, this is a big title. There's a lot of preconceived assumptions that can go with this title, what people think it means, but we're going to take it piece by piece, and I'm going to simplify the profound. The artwork is fantastic. This was created by Sarah Cross, so I want to give her a shout out for the graphic illustration, and it definitely portrays a message that I'm going to convey today. So thank you, Sarah. Caution: shattering the illusion. The information presented today could very well create an emotional reaction, for I do not use euphemisms or sugarcoat my words. This information will challenge what you believe and may be uncomfortable, but this is where change lies, and growing pains are a part of growing up. Thank you for your time and attention. It's good to recognize and acknowledge rising emotions, but don't let it control your thought process. Use logic and reason. Just take the information as I'm presenting it. Later on, you can apply introspection, maybe watch it again, and kind of consider the information, right? So, truth is that which is. Truth matters. Truth is objective and is simply that which has occurred in the past and is occurring in the present. The truth is not relative and is not based upon human perceptions. It is independent and can be discovered, understood, and our subjective perception can align with objective truth in reality. This is the prerequisite of seeking knowledge and wisdom. To learn anything, you must accept that there is truth at hand, that you can get to truth. Truth has a very woo connotation, and a lot of people think it is relative. My truth, your truth, his truth, her truth, when in fact it is simply that which has manifested, that which has occurred and is occurring. We can come to know this. So, shift happens. There is a great awareness occurring. People can use logic and reason to discover what's going on in the world. Many cannot discern truth from deception, but there is also a feeling in our very being, one of disconnect. Most can intuitively feel in their heart that something is amiss. Why is it? What is missing? Is humanity spiraling with or against nature? People seek answers and crave connection, but from what source? The answers are available. In fact, just a shift of perspective can unravel the ropes of your worldview that bind you back from the truth and the mystery that has been awaiting your discovery. Will you respond with open-mindedness or just react comfortably to such blasphemy? As always, the choice is yours. So, in this presentation, there are two categories that I'm going to discuss right now. The first one is Esoteric History. Now, those are two categories that I'm kind of combining, right? But it's exoteric. What does exoteric mean? It means known to the general public, the outside. Now, apply it to history. History is written by the victors. Therefore, his story is relative to those who claim to author reality. Truth, however, is that which has manifested, independent from our perception. The truth can be discovered, and one can align their being to a higher frequency of that which is real, reality. The truth is never popular, and nothing popular is true in the modern world. So the exoteric is what the majority of people believe, what they have been told. Now, history, there is truth in history. We can discover many elements of history that are true. Some we cannot and probably will not ever know the truth of it. But history, what the exoteric, this is what the mainstream has been telling us. So keep that in mind. The second category, esoteric mystery. Esoteric means within the inner circle intended for the initiated. One can begin this process of truth discovery by seeking the mystery of nature. We can discover how reality operates internally, the human psyche, and externally, the manifested world, which both correspond and are reflections of each other. Esoteric knowledge has been occulted from the general public, but is accessible for those who seek it. So the word occulted simply means hidden. Occultism. Oculus means hidden from the eye. This is what esoteric means. It's the bullseye. It's the inner circle. It's the inner core of information. If we want to discover truth in history or truth in reality, we need to seek the esoteric, which is also the mystery. It's being occulted from the majority of people. So, we're going to divide the title up into two sections. Here's the first, Revolt Against the Modern World, and we're going to define our terms and also talk about point of reference. So, revolt means to roll back, come to original point, return. Now, revolt has changed, and revolution comes from revolt. And most people in the exoteric think that this means violence. Revolution, which revolution just means going around in circles and circles. So simply put, revolt, to roll back, come to original point, return. The modern world means the present time, current condition on the planet, the human condition. So, roll back the human condition, come to original point. What is the human condition? So, I'm calling it the agenda against nature, and many others have recognized this as well. There is an overarching agenda that has been promulgated throughout the ages, which is the inversion of nature. The social engineers promote artificial and invert information of how the natural world operates. In every category of human society, the functions of the system are in opposition to nature. The majority of people have been conditioned their whole life with these false axioms. An axiom is a statement that is considered self-evident. Therefore, supporting and propagating these systems which contribute to human suffering. The word agenda means things to be done. What are the things to be done? It is to invert nature, which ultimately you cannot actually do, but you can control the availability of information. for the population, for human beings to take in. And they do that through the exoteric, the outer circle. So, this creates a power differential. The agenda against nature, the inversion of nature, it creates an artificial reality. The modern world is disconnected from the natural rhythm of life. Every part of society is manufactured to operate in opposition to the laws of nature by design. The inversion of nature through the guise of authority is for perception management and behavior control. These functions are constructs of mind. By design, the social engineers, now if you haven't recognized this already, that there are controllers in the world, there are people at the top, the very top of institutions, behind the scenes, that are controlling these institutions, right? The availability of information to create a power differential. This is all to control and engineer your perception. Our behavior is dictated by the information that we hold in our mind that we have accumulated through life. So if they can control the availability of information, then ultimately they are influencing your behavior and the actions you take in the world. So, let's talk about the artificial reality, which artificial means man-made, made by humans, which they are constructs of mind. Human beings have thought them up. Now, artificial, we can make something artificial. I'm using a computer right now that is man-made. I'm using it to communicate this information to you. And humans can make things that are artificial, but it all depends on how it is being used, right? It's a tool. So let's look at the artificial reality. Nutrition does not come from GMO poison-sprayed foods from monocultured farming. Health does not come from synthetic chemicals and bodily genetic modification. Education does not come from obedience indoctrination camps called public schooling. Sovereignty and human rights do not come from government waving pad and a pen. The exoteric, the majority of human beings actually believe these axioms. They believe they are self-evident and they are true. We can see that because we can observe the modern world. We can observe the effects and see what the majority of people, human beings in the aggregate, the actions that they take totally support all of what I've just stated. When in fact, this is all artificial and goes against nature. So, why? The most important question, why? This gets down to the causal factors. Let's work our way there. So, let's talk about worldview. A worldview is one's perception of reality and how it operates. A worldview is based upon information one has obtained from either direct experiences and or secondhand knowledge. All behavior is based upon your worldview. Therefore, it is extremely important to have an accurate perception with a continuous effort to evolve your worldview. By shifting your perspective, you can change your perception drastically for either negative or positive. The meme on the left shows a deer and a road in the forest, and it states, "Things are not always what they seem." The deer isn't crossing the road is crossing the forest. So a worldview is the lens by which you perceive reality, how you think reality operates. The meme is just a crude example, but shows you a shift of perspective. The exoteric, most people see a deer crossing a road. But from another perspective, the road is crossing the forest. The deer, a natural being in its natural environment. Road being artificial. A technology that humans have created, that have laid it through the natural world. So let's talk about types of worldviews. We can categorize many worldviews into two overarching categories. The first one, randomness. This is a left brain dominant imbalance. Someone that is very analytical. Some of the characteristics are matter is prime. It is materialism. Humans are the apex of creation. The universe is a grand accident. There is no creator, therefore no underlying intelligence in nature. No such thing as spiritual, moral, natural law. This worldview is very controlling in its nature. This is all about the physical domain. The next category, determinism. And some of the characteristics are, and this is a right brain imbalance. God controls every event in creation. All occurrences are preordained. Free will is an illusion and does not exist. Since God controls everything, to change is impossible. Action is ultimately meaningless. And this category of worldview is very submissive. So we have these two categories. Randomness is all about free will. Free will is the only thing that exists. And matter is prime. And the right imbalance determinism is we do not have free will. The deities of the cultural religions, whatever that may be, there's all kinds of them, but everything is in order and is preordained. Both of these are imbalances. So let's look at some of the categories of society. We have the health, the allopathic Western medicine, these doctors that are very much in the randomness component. Genes control everything. They are about symptoms. The way the health industry is nowadays, it is very much a sick care system. Patients are customers. The next one is the political worldview, where you have the Republicans and Democrats. This is just a dialectic to give you the illusion of change. Also controlled, artificial, inherently immoral because it's based upon violence and duress, and it's based on the belief in human authority over other human beings and the natural world. Same thing with the health industry. The next one is the the cultural religions. These are the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. This is part of the randomness component, that the deity from these religions control everything. The next category would be the New Age. The New Age is very much repackaged Christianity. They're all about the Christ consciousness. But in the exoteric, they don't truly the majority of them don't truly understand what it means to be in the state of mind of Christ consciousness. This is a very deterministic worldview as well. It's very submissive and passive. They understand that everything is connected, which is great, but it also renders them inactive. Don't look at the negative. The next one is the science industry, scientism, which is government-funded science, right? Which all science, they're not truly using the true natural scientific method that's based in nature, the laws of nature. This is all controlled as well. This is the randomness component, that genes and matter is prime. This is why they seek dark matter. They remove the ether. And the next one is the monetary, is money. How the use of money today is very artificial. This is a controlling worldview as well. Controls prosperity. Money absolutely dominates the majority of people. This is one of the biggest worldviews. Dictates happiness, prosperity, recession. Now, all of these worldviews, they're all based in one overarching category. And this is religion. All of those categories are religion. What is religion? Religion, to bind back. Relegare, which is Latin, to hold back from forward progress. Is the modern world in alignment with the laws of nature in objective reality? That's the question. The majority of worldviews in the modern world are artificial constructs of mind that propagate, support, and condone slavery. They all are cults of mind control. They don't understand these worldviews are in an imbalance state that is artificial, that's operating in opposition to how nature truly operates, which would, yes, we are living in an objective reality. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, meaning that reality does operate a certain way. So this is all of those categories are religion. Hold back from forward progress. But there is a certain type of religion that these categories are. And that is monotheism. So let's define our terms. Mono means one or single. Theism, belief in God, gods or deity. So monotheism is the belief in one God. The majority of people in the two categories of randomness and determinist worldview, right? Those are overarching worldviews, and then we have the subcategories. People are religious towards these categories and put these categories up on a pedestal like it is a god. The doctor, the scientist, the politician, money, the guru, the cultural deity or god in that sense. So all of the cultural and modern religions have some common factors, such as the adherents tend to be very intolerant and destructive to outsiders because they really are cults of exclusion. If you don't have enough money, you can't be part of the club. If you're not a Republican or if you're not a Democrat, then you can't be part of the club. Same with the cultural religions. Islam. Islam accepts everyone from all faiths. But if you're not part of the club, you're an infidel. Same with Christianity. If you don't submit to Jesus Christ as the Savior, you're going to burn in eternal damnation. Same thing with Scientism. It has to be their way or you're not part of the club. So these are cults of exclusion. Back to the common factors. There is an abdication of responsibility. The doctor knows best. Trust the experts. I don't have to look into it. The experts know. Money. People will do anything. They would abdicate their responsibility. Response-able. They would do anything, even violent, immoral acts, for money, to commune with their God. Cultural religions. Submit your very existence to a religious deity, and your soul will be saved. You don't have to do anything in the natural, the physical world, the reality that you're living in. The New Age. We're all one. Don't look at the negative. We don't have to be active when tyranny and slavery is at stake. Don't worry about it. Follow your bliss. Another common factor is that all of those categories, they claim to be the arbiters of truth, reason, and authority. If you want to be spiritual or commune and have a connection with the natural universal spirit, you have to go through a priest or a rabbi. Science has it all figured out. And if it's not part of their agenda, then it's woo-woo and it's bullshit. Politicians know best. They are the leaders of society. Vote them in. They are all claiming to be the arbiters of truth, reason, and authority. Now, the next category of monotheistic religion is statism. The most dangerous monotheistic religion. Early monotheism laid the foundation for government, which is the religion of statism. This dominant dogmatic illusion is the mono-mind virus that plagues humanity, propagating the belief in human authority over the natural world. This religion is parasitic and narcissistic, being the number one cause of unnatural death in existence. Its followers are disassociated from the natural world, creating an unconscious feedback loop of trauma, which is projected out in their own behavior, causing a vicious cycle of suffering. Now, we talked about some of the common factors of those categories being the arbiter of truth, reason, and authority. This is how we have statism, is because the majority of people have an artificial worldview and think that there is validity in government or in these institutions. That health comes from the allopathic Western medicine that's only strictly focused on the symptoms and not on healing. So early monotheism laid the foundation for government. Just as there was a transition in the past where the monotheistic religion slaughtered a whole bunch of people to impose their will and their worldview on others. That was a transition, similar to how we are transitioning right now from traditional government to a corporate feudalistic society. The graphic was done by Sarah Cross as well. Beautiful artwork. Shows slaves at the bottom, police with the whip, the doctor, the politician, the priest. All of these institutions are artificial and not for prosperity of humanity. You think they care about you? We need to see the patterns, people. We need to connect the dots and get down to causal factors. So, ego identification. Most people are ignorant to what it means to be human, believing they are their personas, occupations, cultural status, and ideologies, unbeknownst of their true potential, which is infinite consciousness, having an experience to evolve the soul in harmony with the one great spirit. This is due to an out-of-control ego addicted to conditioned religions rooted in materialism. The meme on the left is also by Sarah Cross, and the woman clutching her head with her face down in her knees, symbolizing internal confusion, and says, I identify as, but all you really are is spirit. You could see all the religions in the background, the symbols. When you're born, bam, they want to give you a barcode, a social security number, tell you who you are and what you should believe. We can see nowadays, even in the in wokeism, where you can choose your gender, what do you identify with? This is a disconnect, a disassociation from the objective, natural world. The ego is all about the self. I do not promote the destruction or the death or ego death. It actually doesn't exist. But your ego is one part of you. Same with your higher self. And those need to be in balance and in harmony. Right now, people identify with the material realm and identify with the ego, which wears masks, personas, and all of this. So what does it mean to be human? That's a huge question I think people don't even consider. We're gonna touch on that a little bit later. So there's two systems that I want to talk about next, and this is symbiosis and parasitic. So the first one, symbiosis. Sim, together. Bios, life. Symbiosis is operating in harmony with the laws of nature, with balance and connection. We can see this in the natural world. In nature, it's always striving for homeostasis and normalizing in a system of symbiosis. The second one is parasitic, from parasitas, one who lives at another's expense. The social engineers are a parasitic class that thrives from humanity's ignorance. So these two systems, apply it. Apply it to yourself. What do you believe? How do you think the world operates? And then look at these categories, all of these facets of society and how it operates. Does it operate in symbiosis with nature, or is it parasitic? And all of them that I've stated today are all parasitic systems. One who lives at another's expense. Take, take, take. The only reason why this happens is because of humanity's ignorance. The word ignorance means lack of knowledge. So, let's move on to some of the causal factors. Because the solution is always in understanding the problem. So, we need to ask ourselves why. And this leads us to the next category. The return to nature. So, let's define our terms. Return means turn back to. Nature is Commission, pronounced nature, NTR, which means creator. The return to nature is embodying and a holistic perspective of reality based in objective truth and the laws of nature, natural law. To connect to that which is moral and align oneself to the natural universal spirit. To serve truth with principled actions. The return to nature is unity consciousness. As I think, so I feel, and so I act. The return to nature does not mean reverting to the past. Does not mean the destruction of technology. It means becoming in alignment, in symbiosis with the natural world. The natural world is not man-made. It is part of source, of creation. Nature is the creator. So unity consciousness means your thoughts and emotions and actions are in alignment. So in the beginning, the artwork, by the way, is by Sarah Cross. It states truth. It's got the seed of life on there, and it's got the triangle, which the seed of life represents natural law, the principles, the laws of nature. And the triangle represents unity consciousness with thoughts, emotions, and actions. So early on in this presentation, I talked about a shift in perspective. This is what this shift is. Introducing animism. So, let's define our terms. Animism, from Latin, anima, or animus, meaning breath, soul, spirit, life force, consciousness. Animism is a holistic state of being, an operating system that perceives reality from consciousness, universal life force, energy, and the governing laws of nature. Animism is building a personal relationship with natural laws by becoming a conscious co-creator. Animism is personalized evolution towards symbiosis in nature. Now, animate and animal come from anima. It means to have a soul. What does it mean to be animated? It means to be alive. You're endowed with breath, life, spirit, life force, consciousness. So animism is also synonymous with paganism, but I'm deliberately choosing animism because it is very descriptive, exactly the perspective that we can utilize. Animism is a default perspective. Children are animists. Very early on, they see life in the natural world, life in everything. They don't have the programming and the conditioning from these artificial worldviews. So one other section that I want to talk about is the anima and animus. So this also has a representation in the natural world, in the macrocosm, the universe. The anima being the divine feminine, representing life. The animus being the divine masculine, representing meaning. They come together in the microcosm, in the human psyche. We also have an anima and an animus. This is in the unconscious mind. Most people have heard about doing shadow work. This is what we need to dive deeper into. The exoteric is, do your shadow work. Look at your trauma and the insecurities that you have accumulated through life. And yes, we need to do that. Absolutely. But going deeper, we get to the anima and the animus. Now, the anima is the feminine and the animus is the masculine. These are both, they correlate to mother and father. A lot of the shadow work has to do with our childhood. A lot of traumatic experiences and false worldviews and false axioms have been instilled in our childhood that we need to reconcile. Now, the anima is related to mother, meaning the relationship that you have with your mother is going to form the anima within your psyche, and how you interact with women is directly correlates with the anima, with the relationship you had with your mother. Same thing with the animus. It represents the father. And all interactions and relationships with men directly relate to the relationship that one has had with their father. So, objective reality, people, okay? It takes a mom and a dad, right? A man and a woman to make a child. So, the relationship we have with our parents goes deep within the subconscious, the unconscious mind. Now, moving on. The natural world. From now on in this presentation, for the remainder of this presentation, I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of animism. The natural world. So, defining the terms, nature from Commission, nature means creation, and natural, which comes from nature, from Latin naturalis, of, from, or related to creation. You are having a subjective experience in an objective reality. The natural world is governed by cosmic, universal, binding, and immutable laws. Animism is considered the root religion because it is based upon the natural, which is absolute and always present. Religio means to reunite and connect together. So we talked about religion earlier, and yes, religion does have a positive connotation in its etymology, and that is religio. Religio, to reunite, to connect together. When we look at the natural world and how the condition that we are in, is humanity in symbiosis with nature, the laws of nature? Or are they in a state of religare, holding back from the truth, holding back from how reality operates? And absolutely they are. We are. So, religio is animism, because animism is based upon the natural world. It is a state of mind where you view everything as energy and consciousness. So, the natural world, absolutely, it operates a certain way. This is natural law. The immutable, universal, binding laws that govern all things, but also govern the behavior of human beings. So as an animist, we view everything as levels of consciousness. You have the mineral, the plant, the animal, and human beings. These are levels of consciousness because of the capacity. So, the natural world is the realm of the real. We need to be able to have an accurate perception of how the world operates and align our behavior, align our worldview with that which is real. So, anima mundi means living nature, soul of the world. Nature is a dynamic, creative intelligence, the underlying living field of consciousness and energy that is in continuous communication with us to reconstruct and reorganize according to the laws of nature to give us the experience we have chosen. There are patterns in the natural world. We can see the communication if we seek and we dive into the esoteric. There is a vast amount of information on how, what, why. This is called occultism. Hidden knowledge of the self, the human being and how it operates, and also the natural world, the laws of nature. Cosmic order. So cosmic, kosmos from Greek, means order. There are 8 laws and 3 principles in the natural world. This is the laws of nature. The natural cosmic laws are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, and care. An animist studies the correlations and the correspondences between these 8 laws. We need to do this. We need to understand these principles and apply it to our life and come and build a personal relationship with these principles for a deeper understanding. From the three principles arise all the infinite variety of combinations of manifestation. 1, consciousness. 2, energy or motion. 3, substance. Our thoughts create motion or energy, which manifests. Consciousness and energy can be looked at as the unseen realm. Substance or matter is the physical domain. They are not separate, they operate as one unit, one system. But we can categorize them to get a better description. But a description is not explanation. This is why it is up to every individual to understand these laws, these principles, and see them in operation in the natural world, in one's own life. And we can do this from the animistic perspective of viewing everything from energy and levels of consciousness. So animism is considered the root religion. I like to call it the original spirituality, which everything is spiritual. What is spirituality? So spiritual, I broke it up into a few words. Spiral, Latin. Spira, to twist around a fixed point. And then ritual, from Latin ritus, ceremony or practice. Or in the Sanskrit, rite, going, way, or custom. Being spiritual means one understands natural law as the fixed point of creation, and daily habits will advance or decline one's personal evolution. Life is not linear. It is a spiral, like the golden ratio in the natural world. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions are either in harmony or in opposition with nature. The consequences are inevitable. Meaning that what you do on a daily basis accumulates and dictates our level of spirituality. That's why it's good to have discipline. Everything is a spiral. Like the vortex or the toroidal field. Now, life is not linear. It's not a passing movie. Animism is all about engagement. It's all about action. You have the free will choice to choose in life. And those choices will interact with the laws of nature to influence and deliver an outcome. When we talked about the worldviews earlier, about randomness and determinism, and the answer is that it is both as one. Free will and natural law. Free will is the randomness component, and natural law is the deterministic component. You are free to choose whatever you wish, but you will not be free from the consequences of your choices. So, mythology. It's ancient. It's been predominant in animistic culture and pagan culture. Mythology, story with logic. Many past cultures used mythos as an oral tradition to pass knowledge through the ages. These stories are representations of natural forces and aspects of consciousness that can be utilized for self-development. The gods, goddesses, planets, signs, symbols, and events are not literal. They are allegorical, metaphorical, and archetypal, which bypass the ego and resonate within the subconscious mind, making them timeless as well. Using logic and reason can decode the contained gnosis and reveal correspondences within human psychology and the laws of nature. So, we can see this in the cultural religions. The exoteric. The majority of people think the holy books are literal representations, when in reality they are allegorical, metaphorical, archetypal. It's astrotheology as well, talking about natural forces and the self. Mythology is ancient. Cultural religions have bastardized this and inverted mythology. The cultural religions started to use written language. They started writing down their knowledge, which took away from the oral traditions, because when you have an oral tradition, it is passed from lip to ear, meaning that the one speaking it has an understanding of natural law, of the natural forces and the self. So, moving on. As above, so below. As within, so without. The universe is holographic in nature, meaning self-similar, on the macrocosm and the microcosm. The planets and stars are aspects of our psychology. The earth is similar to the human vessel. The heavens above, the constellations, the zodiacs, these are all part of mythology. These are archetypes of the cosmic mind, but also are the same with our own psychology. The earth is very similar to the human being. As above, so below. We can see in the pictures. Going left to right. This is a lung. This is a tree. In the middle, we see the golden ratio, the spiral, the toroidal field, the universe, the fingerprint, a plant, a shell, a wave. The next image on the right, we have the tree of life, the human placenta, tree stump, fingerprint, lung, tree branch, leaf veins, human veins, river network. The point of this slide is the pattern recognition is unlimited of the correspondences in the natural world, macro to micro and vice versa. We can see for the earth with the seasons, it's like the oscillation of a respiration, breathing in, breathing out for the human being. We can see that mountains are like the fixed points of our bones. The ocean is like the lymphatic system as it washes back and forth and can clear out detox and cycle things through our body. There's so many patterns that we need to seek and understand. This is what atheists refuse to see, which atheism is also a religion as well. It's the religion of atomism, of materialism. but they haven't seen these correspondences with the greater natural world and the individual. We need to study this. This is what an animist understands as the foundational operating system, the worldview, that there is interconnectedness. And we can utilize this for self-development, to come to know ourselves, our psychology, how emotions in the body operates, and how the natural world operates in correspondence for sure. So, that being said, let's talk about the law of manifestation. If we don't understand this knowledge, which is the elementary, the elements, the foundation, if our foundation is flawed, then we're going to have a faulty building. If we don't understand this basic knowledge of nature, of creation, and of ourselves, we are creating, or because we don't know this information, as the exoteric, we are in a human, the human condition is slavery, bondage, and control, and will get worse because of the law of manifestation. Humans say they want change, and there are requirements for manifesting the conditions we say we want. Animism is a proactive and practical operating system that involves action. A simple example is the old adage, you reap what you have sown. You get what you give. I think in ancient times, I think farmers were the first philosophers. This is why I always talk about, when I talk about parenting and trying to introduce the natural law principles to young children, is start with gardening. It's hands-on, it's proactive. You can be engaged. You can work with the natural principles. You can see that if you plant carrots, you are going to get carrots. You can see the seasons, the cycles. You can see gender in the seed and the fruit, the seed and the flower. Cause and effect. Mentalism, polarity. So let's define energy. From Greek, ergon means deed. Karma from Sanskrit means to do. So, the law of manifestation is based upon actions. The New Age movement focuses on emotion. It's all about how you feel. When how we manifest is based upon the actions that we take. Our act, ion. Act means to perform. Ion means energy. Or ion, your focus and attention. So, our condition in the world right now is one of slavery. Why? Because we do not understand this foundational information. Therefore, the majority of human beings are in an artificial worldview, and it shows in their behavior. They are immoral, supporting and condoning the system of control and the system of slavery. So, moving on. Prayer versus sacrifice. Manifestation is based upon energy exchange. You must be willing to give action to get the result. There is a difference between prayer and sacrifice. Prayer is asking a God to grant your wish and give you what you want, which is an artificial delusion. Sacrifice is giving your time and attention through action towards the goal. Sacrifice, which is the movement of energy, can be done consciously or unconsciously. But if you say you want something, then action is required. Action is required. So, for an animist, we do not worship deities. We do not worship nature. We do not worship the gods or the goddesses. Some people do. Neo-pagans, yeah, there's certain stuff like that. But I'm talking about from the animist perspective, it's not worship. It's work with. Work with the archetypes. Work with the natural forces, natural law. Work with the principles. Consciousness, energy, substance, matter. The spiritual currency is time and attention, not paper sigils. That is the real currency. It's all about energy exchange and the movement of energy. So we say we want freedom, prove it. You have to prove it with your actions. We all sacrifice. I'm sacrificing time right now to do this presentation. A lot of people sacrifice their children to artificial educational system or public school, an indoctrination camp. That's sacrifice. But what are you sacrificing to? What are you sacrificing for? Most people abdicate their responsibility to books that have been written by human beings. And they think the book is literal, and they think that the book was written from the source, the creator of the universe, and never question it. So, universe. Let's define universe. Universus means whole, entire, turned into one, all in one. Let's break up the word. Unis, one, versus, turn, or uni, one, verse, song. Universe, one reality, one song. We each play an instrument in the universal symphony of nature, not separately, but as one song. We are co-creating reality, and your actions set the tone for direction of the one song. Nature is the instructor at the university, guiding and offering abundant lessons for the fine-tuning of the spiritual musician, if willing. Universe, one song. It's a system that interacts with each other. We are all connected. What we do here matters. The cultural religions, they always stress the afterlife. What you do here is relative. It's all about when you cross over to the other side. But what you do here and now is the purpose, is what matters. Your actions. Relativity is a bane on humanity. This was created by the social engineers. Einstein, right? He was the Fauci of his day. The Dr. Fauci of his day, right? With the theory of relativity. Even Nikola Tesla said that Albert Einstein is a quack and the theory of relative is malarkey. We are in a universe, a one verse, a one reality. It's one system that works as one. So, as human beings become moral, then we become more We become in symbiosis with nature or the rhythm of life, and we can create freedom. And if human beings are immoral in deed, in action, then we will be in a parasitic system, a take, and we will manifest slavery and control. The artwork, again, done by Sarah Cross, which is beautiful. So, next, animism versus animism. Plane of causality and plane of effects. The spiritual realm of mind and energy are metaphysics, and the 3D material plane is the manifested realm of effects, or physics. They are not separate and operate as one reality. The modern world focuses on the manifested physical realm by removing the ether and replacing it with atomism. Matter is prime. Animism understands all is consciousness and life force energy, ether. Natural law is the only governing authority to help guide us to higher states of conscious evolution. The social engineers, the artificial worldviews, want to keep people focused on the material plane. We need to understand that there are the unseen laws, the unseen realm. Even human beings have a small section of the visible light spectrum that we can see. This is why in the Cometian hieroglyphic of nature, it was a flag symbolizing the flag that stands and is ever blowing in the wind. Natural law. Wind is unseen, but yet you can see the effects of the flag blowing. So, the laws of nature, natural law, are there for guidance, for our conscious evolution. We are here to grow. And the social engineers see this as constraints. They want to be demigods on this planet. The parasites that feed off our energy, off humanity's ignorance. So, the ether in the Scientism category, right? They're seeking dark matter, and they never talk about the ether. This is why you don't have in public schools, they don't stress the works of Nikola Tesla or Walter Russell or Boscovich. They don't get into these type of people because these people understand that there is an ether, there's a life force energy that is all around us and connects all things. That's in constant communication. So, their great reset versus the one great work. Now, the social engineers, they have their agenda. They are the exoteric of this agenda is very outspoken. They're calling it the Great Reset, which is a transitional period of becoming more in opposition to nature. Now, the one great work I use as a good example is alignment to nature, because it is in service of truth. Now, we need to understand that there are no saviors. What is potential is not actual, and you must activate. This is propagated in the New Age movement. It's propagated in the cultural religions, in money, health, the political scheme, the educational system. all the artificial worldviews, is that there is an authority, that they are the authority. Seek that authority and you will be saved, excuse me, in some sorts. Happiness, all you need is just enough money, more money, more money. Worship Jesus, Allah, and you will be saved. Vote the right politician in, and we will have change. It's all bullshit. It's all an artificial construct of mind to control you. So, the Great Reset is a part of transhumanism. The social engineers want to merge humans with machine, to atomize and reduce humanity to an algorithm whereby humans are fully disconnected from spirit in nature. Souls will be sold to materialism, egotism, obedience, and ignorance will reign as the pillars of worship, for the new man will claim authority over nature. The implementation of this ideology has been well established and is directed to the next generations. This is what they want to do ultimately. They want to disconnect you from spirit, from the natural world, which you cannot really do. But the individual can make the choice to be ignorant and not understand this information, and it will show in their actions and behaviors. They want to merge human beings with machines. So this plan is going on right now. It has been going on for many decades, and it is in full effect right now. And we can see it's pressed on the younger generations. Distract the older, program and condition the younger generations. This is what they're doing. So, revolt against the modern world means to take action within yourself and do not turn away from the artificial worldviews, the immoral actions, and look towards what is real, what is true, and what is moral. So the quote down at the bottom, Homo Deus, man is God. This is what they want to do, the social engineers. They want human beings, man, to be God. All the cultural religions, their deities always has a human element. This is part of Homo Deus. So, moving on to Animism and Anarchy. So, Animism and Anarchy are synonymous. Both inherent natural states of being. They are based in objective truth, personal responsibility, accountability, decentralized anti-system, and both are highly criticized in the modern world. Animism is a mindset of sovereignty, engagement, action, and evolution under natural law. Anarchy is the state of freedom, whereby humanity is moral in action under natural law. Now, the operating system, the worldview of animism, can absolutely be utilized for self-development. Animism is also the default state. It is inherent. It sees everything as consciousness and life force energy. It is based in the natural, in objective truth. It is very much about sovereignty because it's all about your personal evolution, your personal relationship with natural law, nature, and our fellow beings. Anarchy, which the definition of anarchy means without rulers, without masters, and without archon, ruler. What is the state of, or the absence of, rulers and masters? No masters, no slaves. It is the state of freedom. So animism and anarchy both understand that natural law must be understood and acted in harmony with. So the one great work, it's all about seek truth and speak truth. Animism is the great work, which is the internal process of working with the aspects of consciousness and natural law for self-discovery and self-mastery, seeking the mystery of oneself in nature. Seek truth, seek the esoteric, the mystery, the my story of oneself, because it is about you and what you condone, and your actions will either advance the condition of slavery or move towards freedom. We need to seek the mystery of nature. This is an ongoing process. You can constantly develop a deeper understanding of natural law principles. Apply them to your life instead of just knowing a textbook definition. Relate to them. See it in operation, in communication, in the world. The one great work is service to truth by acting in the external world to influence change towards symbiosis and freedom. Understanding the universal life force that connects all as one. The great work is the internal process, and the one great work is the external process of using your voice. It's an oral tradition, using the voice lip to ear, communicating to the general public about freedom, what it is, how to achieve it, natural law, morality, objective morality. The great work comes first. You have to be in alignment. You have to rid yourself of these artificial worldviews to get an accurate perception of what is going on in the world and how reality operates, and then activate and do the one great work. The hierarchy of service on the right. At the bottom, you have service to self, most prevalent in society. Moving up, service to others. And at the top, service to truth, which is least prevalent in society. In serving the truth, you serve both the self and others, because truth is only ever of benefit to all. Objective truth, the truth, that we are in a condition of human slavery. How did we get there? And how do we get out? So, we can do that. Earth and heart. And I underlined art. So the question, how do we influence the unconscious masses to look within for change? we create art. Change must occur in the mind, and we can spark that change through the heart via inspiration by utilizing your own talents and attributes to express the message of true freedom in a multitude of art forms. This requires being literate in the modern day and being connected to yourself. Just as nature expresses beauty in unlimited forms, you can create change with your will. So we need to understand that you can't force someone to change. You can't force someone to do that internal work. So how do we influence? We create art. This is what the human being is separate from animal, plant, and mineral. We have the ability, the capacity for logic and reason, and to create art. Art influences the heart. So we need to understand that. How do we do that effectively in today's age, in the modern world? We need to understand technology. An animist is not against technology. It depends. We understand that it is a tool, and it matters on how you use that tool. Are you using it to create symbiosis or parasitic control and slavery? Are your actions moral or immoral? So to communicate effectively, we need to understand the tech, and this is understanding how to make presentations, write a book, music, and get it out to thousands and thousands of people. You cannot solve any problem from the same level of consciousness that created the problem. Higher consciousness is the solution. So, awareness reveals choice, meaning as you increase your pattern recognition, you will have a greater scope, an accurate worldview, and you will be in frequency with truth, that which is, and this will reveal choices. Because the correct worldview is understanding free will and natural law. And in this introductory presentation where I introduced animism, this has a great advantage for personal development, building that personal relationship with nature, and activating. This is what this presentation was hoping for. Higher consciousness is the solution, because we are in a war for our souls, and we must activate. So revolt against the modern world. Turn away from immoral actions. Deny the artificial worldviews that are being bombarded in every category, especially to our children, and return to nature. Return to that which is real. Principles. First things first. That is my presentation, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Sarah Cross for the beautiful artwork. I want to thank James and Joe again for giving me this opportunity, and for the viewers, thank you so much. You can find all of my links on Linktree under Will Keller. This presentation is part 1 There is a second presentation. I highly recommend that you check that out. I'm going to go in depth in animism and other related topics so that we can start that individual journey of returning to nature, returning to ourselves, and discovering the real. So, I appreciate you all. Thank you for your time and attention. Seek truth and speak truth. Agape.